Hey guys, Alex975A here today, and in today's video, as you can see in the title, I wanted to show you guys my Fantasy Euro 2024 squad match game week 3. So I think this is actually a really good squad. Now there is some flaws in it, and I definitely can see that, and this is I'm pretty early into the fantasy Premier League, even any fantasy football in general, but this squad has done well for me. Now there's some changes obviously, but this squad has done well for me. So anyways, the first pick in GK is Pickford, and then there's Lunin. Now Pickford is for obvious reasons because England are amazing defensively, and they have got a clean sheet, and Pickford gets a lot of saves, and he's actually a really good keeper, one of the best in the Premier League this season that just happened. Actually, I would say probably the second best keeper, and he got nearly as much clean sheets as Raya, even though he was playing for Everton, which got, I think, 16th or something like that. So Pickford is definitely a top pick. Lunin is more just for budgetary reasons because he's worth 4.5 mil, and also at the start he was starting for Ukraine, and I thought Ukraine would do better than they did, but now I just haven't transferred him out because I just need to use my transfers and other stuff. So Lunin is definitely not one I'd recommend getting, but he's just there because I have him. The next one is Dumfries, which I think is a really solid pick. And if you watch my Xavi Simons is a must-get video, you know that I think Netherlands are going to do very well. So Dumfries is definitely a must-get for me. He's a 5 mil, so I really think he should be. But Frimpong is also another good shout, but Dumfries is a more confirmed starter, and he's also much more consistent. Koundé is my next pick, because I need more French players. France are doing good defensively. He's really cheap, only being 5 million. Well, not really cheap, but you know. And Koundé is what you call playing for France, which is one of the best teams in the world. And France are in a really tight game right now, and they're probably going to destroy Poland because Poland are out of the Euros, and France aren't confirmed into the round of 16. Middlestat is my next pick, really because he's really cheap. He's only being 4 million and a confirmed starter for Germany. He just got an assist, getting 10 points in total in his last game week. Germany have been really great, so Middlestat is probably one of the best picks I have there. The next one is Cancelo, for obvious reasons, because he usually gets assists for Portugal. He hasn't been performing to his best standard for Portugal for the Euros, but he still is good, and he's got a few clean sheets. I wouldn't recommend getting Cancelo because he hasn't been tending to get clean sheets unless you have the money free to do it. Next one I do think is a very good one, and it's Trent Alexander-Arnold. Main reason I did that is because he's actually playing in the middle, so he gets so much better goals and assists. I know he hasn't got any yet, but there's a chance he will. On to the midfield, we've got Kante, which is just a really solid pick. He gets loads of points because he's defensively, he's hard-working, and honestly, I'd say, in my opinion, probably one of the best players of France, if not the best at France at the moment, because he's such a hard worker, and I really like him as a player. The next one is Eriksen, because Denmark have actually been good. Eriksen got a goal. Denmark are actually, in my opinion, a dark horse in this thing. They could still get out. I do actually think they'll get out of their group with Portugal. So I do think Eriksen in the last game, he might do something. I do think Denmark in general do something. I do think he is a very good pick for the middle. Next in the pick is Xavi Simons. I'm not even going to go into him. Watch my other video that just came out a few hours ago. Xavi Simons, you can see I talk about him all in that video. He's worth 7 million, extremely cheap. Next on our list is Bruno Fernandes, for obvious reasons, because he's one of the best midfielders in the world, but he is 9 million, but I would say he is probably a definite get. I do think Portugal are going to win the Euros, that's why I'm getting a lot of Portuguese players. So yeah, Bruno Fernandes. Next one on the list is Phil Foden. Although he hasn't been living up to the standard because England has so many attacking players, Phil Foden is still probably the best player in the Premier League. Not in my opinion, but he definitely was one of, if not the best player in the Premier League this season, and he's just probably the best player for England at the moment. Probably Harry Kane, but he's up there, so I do think Phil Foden is a good pick, but he can be swapped out for someone else. In the strikers or forwards, I've got Havertz, which for one, it's for budgetary reasons because he's only 7.5 million playing as a consistently starting striker for one of the top teams in the Euros. So Kai Havertz is a very good one, and he has performed quite well. Next is Ronaldo, because it's Ronaldo, but the one thing is he hasn't been performing up to standard, in my opinion, because they've been playing against easy teams and he's not scoring. He usually scores for international in the group stages, so Ronaldo should be doing better, but still he's got an assist and all, so he's not doing terrible, and he's also still got a lot of games ahead of him. Now the one thing is the next game, Portugal have already qualified, so I don't know if they'll have that drive, but I would say they will. So Ronaldo is definitely a must get. And then Romelu Lukaku is my next one. I know he had a disappointing first game. His second game was quite good, getting an assist. And in the first game, he wasn't terrible. Like, Trossard was terrible, but he was only just bad, not like absolutely abysmal. So I do think Romelu Lukaku, I think he might try prove himself in the last game. I really think he's a wild card. He could do terrible, he could do great. In the last game, when Belgium need to win the game to qualify for the round of 16, I do think Lukaku might try pull up. He might not be the player to do it, but I do think he's one of the high shouts, so that's why I chose Romelu Lukaku. So in my opinion, to sum up, I do think the forwards are can be changed out, but I do think the defence is very solid, and I think the midfield is pretty solid itself, especially Kante, Eriksen and Simmons. I do think Fernandes and Foden, because of their price, might be able to be swapped out for other players if you want to, but in my opinion, the definite must-gets are Kante, Eriksen, Simmons, Dumfries, Koundé, Middlestat, Cancelo, Arnold and Pickford. They're the must-gets in my opinion. Oh, and Havertz. So yeah, that's pretty much it for today's video. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.